I am Angelia Stone. I am the CEO of Hope Magazine. Hello, Gems, and welcome to our Tuesday night Hope Chat Live. My name is Angelia Stone, and I am the CEO of Hope Magazine, and we are back. It's been a week already, and I'm so happy that you decided to join me and us for this amazing show. Each week, we strive to bring you our friends and supporters, great women, men of influence, and expertise. As we prepare for the show, take a moment to like, tag, share your girlfriends to your our private group because you definitely don't want to miss one episode. If you are in our private groups, invite your sister friends to join us right here where everything good is happening. So now let's talk about our wonderful guest tonight. I'm so happy to have joining our show, Miss Beautiful and the lovely Autumn Carter. Autumn is an author, a keynote and inspirational speaker. And a little sidebar, Autumn is also one of our Hope 25 ladies from 2022. So I definitely wanted to add that in. Autumn Carter, published author of her self debut book, Thank You, a 30-year-old stage 4 breast cancer journey to remission. Autumn has been a keynote and inspirational speaker for various events, sharing her testimony of stage 4 breast cancer survivors. She was diagnosed at the age of 30, and she reached remission at the age of 33 with a prognosis of 2 years to live. But she outlived the prognosis, and she is here to prove it. So I can't wait for her to share her amazing testimony. Autumn has set out on a mission, continuing to raise awareness around self-care, breast cancer awareness, disparities in healthcare, and post-traumatic growth, PTG. Today, we're glad to chat about the awareness that is needed specifically among women of color. So we're in for an amazing show tonight. So be sure to tag, share, and all that. We're going to take a quick commercial break as we bring the lovely Autumn into the studio. If you haven't already done so, as we said, take a moment to share this chat with your girlfriends, sister, women that you know who need to be empowered and inspired. There she is. There's the lovely Autumn R. Carter. How are you?
I'm lovely. How are you?
I'm fine. We are finally making this one-on-one chat happen, huh?
Yes, we are.
How you been?
I've been amazing. I've been amazing and blessed. How about yourself?
I'm doing wonderful. I see you all out here doing amazing things and everything, and just sharing your amazing story and testimony, and just and I just love it.
Thank you. I appreciate that so much. It's all God. I'm just being obedient.
Well, good. Well, we're going to jump right into the chat because there's so much that I know we need to cover and talk about. So tell us a little bit about yourself, just the everyday Autumn.
So the everyday Autumn.
The fabulous Autumn, might I add.
Thank you. I appreciate that so much.
Mm-hmm.
Everyday Autumn is driven, focused. When I say driven, more so purpose-driven. I enjoy family, friends, and really personal growth. That's like something I've been into a lot lately.
That's good. So tell us, let's talk about your previous health challenges. How did you find out that you had breast cancer?
So I found out because I had a few symptoms that have led up to, I apologize, my light is timed.
Oh, that's okay.
In my office, give me 1 second, I apologize.
You're fine, take your time.
Okay. And so I had found out because I had a few symptoms that had led up to me finding a lump. And the symptoms had included a elongated period that lasted for about 2 weeks, and that was not normal for me.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, my normal menstrual cycle would usually last about maybe 3 days. And so for it to be 2 weeks, that was alarming to me. I also had woke up in the middle of the night with a hot flash, which caused me to wake up to a puddle of sweat.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And then I also had a sore nipple where they actually found the lump. But I actually had found that through self-examination.
Well, what's interesting is that just you saying that, This thinking how important it is for us to know our bodies and to
Mhm.
know what's not normal. For you to be so young and just, you could have just said, "Oh, it's nothing," this could be anything. But you identify what three things that was, your period was long. You
Mhm.
you had a hot flash because you think, okay, what am I having a hot
Mhm.
flash for?
Absolutely.
And then you said about your nipples. Now, was your flow different, or was it just in that kind of like triggered things too for you, or what?
When you say my flow, my menstrual flow.
But when you had it for the extended 2 weeks, was it different, or was it like it was a regular menstrual cycle?
So I would say it was the same as my normal menstrual cycle. It wasn't any. Well, actually, you know what? I take that back because it's been about maybe 3 or 4 years since that happened. So I'm trying to recall. I want to say it was a little bit heavier than usual,
Mm-hmm.
and so that was not normal, and the color was much darker than my usual menstrual color.
Now, prior to this, did you go for regular checkups or mammogram, or were you just kind of at that age where they say, "Oh, you don't need to have a mammogram till you 35, 40 years old"?
So I would get routine checkups when it came to my OBGYN.
Mm-hmm.
So this time I had my daughter, and so I would get yearly checkups.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as getting a mammogram, they actually turned me away and told me I could not have one unless breast cancer ran in my family, which it did not, and it still does not.
Wow.
And then also, too, they told me that I was under the age of 40 in order for my insurance to cover it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. 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 Were you immediately diagnosed with stage four? Did that kind of progress, or how was that?
That's a great question. So I was not diagnosed originally with stage 4. It progressed from stage 1, then to stage 3, and then from stage 3 to stage 4. And it happened very aggressively. So I'd probably say within a 2-month time frame, I was diagnosed with 3 different stages of cancer.
Mhm, mhm. And once you were diagnosed, what was your first course of action? I know you probably knowing you and knowing your mom, you guys were on it right away.
Yeah, absolutely. So medically, my mother, she happens to have a friend of the family who is a breast surgeon. So
Mhm,
she had reached out to her to understand like what our next steps were going to look like. And then from there, I basically went to so many different doctor's offices just to get different perspectives of treatment. So I saw my surgeon, and then I also had a radiologist, and then I eventually met my oncologist.
mhm, mhm. That had to be I can imagine what that whole feeling. What kept you grounded just during that time frame? I know you had your baby and your family, and I know your faith. I know that all played a huge part, but share with us, how you felt.
Sure. So I really felt like I was going to be okay, to be quite honest.
Mhm,
I had so much peace over me, and I know that was God,
mhm,
because something like that, I would never fathom that I would be able to handle that on my own. And
mhm,
so I had peace like none other with having a great support system between my family and some close friends. And then
mhm.
also, too, having, like you said, my faith in my daughter. She was a huge reason for why I continue to want to survive.
Good. That's awesome. I knew it. Yeah.
Mhm.
Let's talk about your book, Autumn. Thank you, a 30-year-old stage 4 breast cancer journey to remission. Why thank you?
So thank you is for so many reasons. Thank you is, and I don't want to tell the whole story because I do want people
Here
to,
we go. Okay, so don't tell us
yes,
everything.
to still read the book. But thank you is, and I didn't include this in my book, but it's so important to understand this background of how my book came about.
Mhm,
My mother had actually found a journal that I had wrote, and I was living with them during my treatment. And so
uh-huh,
I had moved out, and my mom had found a journal that I had left to her house, which is now my book. And
mhm,
so in that journal, she had read through it, and she had saw that a lot of the things that I had prayed about in my journal had came to pass. And so she didn't tell me she had it. I had no idea that existed. I forgot all about it. You're just not thinking about, let me go find the journal that I wrote, wrote my breast cancer journey in. And so she presented that to me, and I read back through it, and I could do nothing but cry because so many things had come to pass. And so I had to tell God, thank you.
mhm,
And then I also named it thank you because I had so much gratitude
mhm,
during that time period that it really shook me to my core when I read through it, because I couldn't believe that I had so much gratitude towards a situation that could have turned me bitter, if that makes sense.
It does. It does. It does. You stated that you feel you must continue to raise awareness around self-care and breast cancer awareness. With the internet and so many healthcare choices, why do you feel we are still struggling to bring awareness and encourage self-care?
I definitely say self-care is a journey of its own. I feel like, to me, as you evolve as a woman, or as a person or individual, you implement certain self-care routines that really speak to the space and the place that you are in your life. And so I feel like that's constantly changing as you evolve. And some people just don't know to take care of themselves. They think, taking care of themselves means putting a roof over your head and paying your bills, but it's so much more than that. It's really taking time for yourself to understand what your needs are on a deeper level. And I think, to me, we get so caught up in the everyday life that we forget to take care of ourselves. And
I agree. I think that we are so just prone and just embedded in. What I love is how the conversation has shifted, and then you have more even women of color, Black women, talking about taking care of themselves, and just spa days, just whatever. What I enjoy most is coming home from work and putting on my cute pajamas and just relaxing.
yes.
When I say that's just so fun to me, and I used to didn't do that. I used to just like, oh, this always on the go. But what I actually love is so important. Even this past year was real stressful for me. And I said, a friend of mine was saying, you have to, it's two things, health or hope. And that's like, okay, well, I won't be able to do hope if my health isn't right,
Absolutely.
And so I really thank you so much for sharing that, and being so young to be able, like you said, to evolve to that, that you even know that's a lot of wisdom that, at your age. At that your age, I probably had 3 kids, 4 kids. And I was like, what about self-care? So
Absolutely.
yeah, so that's good. How do you feel we can dispel these disparities? Well, let's talk about the disparities in healthcare and post-traumatic growth, or PTG. Explain this to us.
Sure. And I apologize. My
Oh,
office
no,
light
no,
is
no, no.
on, so it goes off.
You're fine. You're fine.
So as far as the disparities in healthcare, what that looks like is basically people of color being overlooked for optimal healthcare access, and then also to preventative measures. You don't really hear about preventative measures in our communities. You just hear about being treated. It's much more common now for us to understand that preventative is a huge step in, I would say, a misstep that has taken place in order for us to really cut down on the amount of diagnosis, if that makes sense. And so I think, for me, with disparities in healthcare, that really roots to who really and truly is in office, and who's making bills that align with what we're wanting to see change. So for me, I truly believe it should not be 40 years old to where you get a mammogram. That's absolutely crazy to me, because I have been impacted by breast cancer at such a young age, and possibly that could have saved my life. Well, I've been saved anyways, but possibly that could have prevented me from going from stage 1, stage 3 to stage 4 if they would have caught it at stage 0. And so for me, it really stems to who we are electing into office, local office, and also too, on a broader scale, the president in office, and our Senate members, and our local elected officials who are in the state house, our state representatives, and our state senators, passing laws and creating laws that really hone in on the disparities in healthcare. I've had so many different experiences with different healthcare providers that were not very positive. And to me, I either took it from my age or my race. And to me, neither should exist.
I agree. And what's so unfortunate is that we hear that a lot. I mean, as far as with, I've had my own experiences being a person of color and with the wrong diagnosis, just not really taking my health seriously.
Mhm.
And so I think it's really important for us, and for, I think you do a wonderful job too, is to communicate, keep spreading, take your health and your care, put it in your hands,
Mhm.
learn about, because I didn't know anything about, I would just go to the doctor, just have an exam. I
Mhm.
had no clue, Autumn, about all the extra tests,
Mhm.
and I had a person of color that was my nurse practitioner,
Mhm.
and they started offering these extra tests for
Mhm.
various exams, and I was like, well, I'll take it, because I didn't know those things exist. So, but that's so inspiring that, do you get a chance to talk to other young women, because like you said, I agree 100%. I don't think the whole thought around having a mammogram at 40, having a pap smear every 2, 3, 4 years, however they're doing it now.
Mhm.
Because I think, why? Because how you used to have it once a year,
Mhm.
but you can save lives if you're able to take, to have these exams sooner,
Absolutely.
you know. Do you get a chance to talk to other young women, college age students, women perhaps, about, get a mammogram,
Absolutely. So I'm partnering with Pink Forever, which is a local amazing organization that
Mhm,
really has honed in on the disparities in healthcare
mhm,
within Indiana. And so with them, I'm actually helping and aiding that in that area to help provide education towards my more of like my age group and college students
mhm,
because that is needed. And a lot of my friends who have been alongside my journey or just found out, like associates that I knew, they were shocked and stunned that I had breast cancer and they couldn't believe that, as much as I couldn't believe that
mhm.
it happened to me at such of a young age. And I truly believe that the more awareness that we raise, the more lives we can save.
I think it's important too that, you talk about it, spread it, and just share, share, share. And I think you do a wonderful job at that, because again, especially with women of color, a lot of times oh, it's not in our family. Oh, I'm okay. I'm not 40 years
Mhm.
old yet. And so there's a lot to unpack there. Being a woman of color, if it's not hereditary, if it's not genetic, but also just you're up against the disparities in the health community, in healthcare, that you don't even, I mean, it was shocking to me. I don't know why. It was just like,
Mhm.
seemed like I've lived in this, it was in this bubble, Autumn, when, with, everything is so advanced on the internet, that you read these stories and it's like, am I really being discriminated? You mean when I go to the doctor, it's different for me than uh,
Absolutely.
someone of a different race? I mean, it was just, when I tell you that was shocking to me, it was because, again, we didn't have those conversations in my family. My mom, that she had no clue that there was any different.
Mhm.
And so I think it's so important, to be able to share these things. Even when I was first made aware of your story, when you're with your nomination, and just, I think it was your mom that nominated you. And I'm just thinking, wow, that's really something, to
Mhm.
be able to have that experience. But even as Gwen is saying here, we need to hear more from women of color and women in general about our own health. And I think that was, even your story has helped me move forward to always want to put women of color's health first, and talk about, because that's essential. It's real important, so.
Absolutely. And I think to me, the standpoint of where I really empowered myself in the situation was really taking a hold of my healthcare to be a partner with my doctor. And
Mhm.
so I participated
I
in my
like that word, partner. I
yes,
like.
I
Mhm.
partner with my doctor, and so I'm very vocal about my needs. I'm very vocal about my wants. Of course, he keeps me in a safe of like, a space of like being safe where he's like, okay, Autumn, I can't do that because we have to focus on this, but I'm still voicing and expressing myself to be a partner. And even with my general doctor, she's just like, thank you so much for raising awareness about certain things, because I feel like I know my body more than the doctor does. Of course, they're able, right, absolutely. So they're able to diagnose what's going on, but I'm able to tell them like, I think this may be it, or this may be it, to kind of give them a starting point. And then also too, just understanding that racism does exist, and it does not discriminate against any type of profession. So there's even, unfortunately, there are some doctors that will put Black patients to the wayside. There's even a study that was done amongst Black patients where I want to say it was in a text, don't quote me on this, but I want to say it's in a textbook for medical doctors, where they basically state that Black women or Black patients in general feel less pain. And that's absolutely crazy. So just understanding that there's a lot of stigmas attached to Black women when it comes to healthcare, and then also to understanding that racism does not discriminate when it comes to professionalism, including medical.
It's unfortunate, but that traces way back to, slavery and all that, where they felt like, they didn't use anesthesia for Black women through pregnancy, and this used a lot of tests. This really was just inhumane, so.
Absolutely.
Wow. So what's next on the horizon for Miss Autumn Carter?
So I am actually going to be a panelist for a discussion that's taking place at Martin University on the 24th of February. And this is discussing disparities in healthcare. So I'm super excited about this. It is Pink Forever is a sponsor, as well as Cancer Community Center and IU Health, which plays huge roles in I would say equipping and educating people when it comes to healthcare disparities. So I'm super excited about that. And then also too, I'm working on a few things. And so I have a few things that will be coming out soon, and I'm excited about them. And I will be sure to blast them on my social media as well.
Well, you definitely got to tag us and share and all that good stuff with us too. So.
Absolutely.
So how can our audience connect with you, Autumn?
Sure. So on Facebook, my name is simply Autumn R. Carter. And then also too on Instagram, sorry, I was trying to read the comment. Also too on Instagram, it's autumn.r.carter.
Oh, wow. Okay. So thank you so much for joining us this week. And we definitely, always going to keep up with you, one of our Hope 25, and just for your amazing story, and just for you just being who you are. We can't wait until book 2 drops, and, all the fabulous things that you have, and, just continue to use your voice to be an instrument and to share, being an advocate for women's health. So we really appreciate that.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you for having me.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you all so much for joining. Wasn't that a wonderful discussion? Wow. Be sure to you'll be able to join us for this chat if you came in late, or if you just want to watch it again. A lot of good nuggets there. So be sure to share, tag everyone, and thank you all so much for joining us and joining me and Autumn tonight. We will see you next Tuesday at 8:30, and make sure you stay close to our page so you can see the announcement that comes out. We have a full schedule all the way up until April, so you definitely don't want to miss it. So again, thank you all so much. I enjoyed being with you tonight, and I'll see you next Tuesday.